Hi friends, I'm back again. This time I'm going to show one of my new digitals. Um, when I was away last week, I went to an antiques shop and I got this really cool old book called Freight Conductors Train Book, and it's just page after page after page of a form that evidently the conductors had to fill out for their records. And at first I bought the book just mainly for the pages within, and so I've harvested out of a bunch of the pages. Then I got to thinking, how cool is this book? It is so cool. It's just the right size for maybe a travel journal, or it's just fun, maybe one to tuck in another journal as an addition. So I did some scanning and produced the first digital kit from it is the book itself, Freight Conductors Train Book, and I'm in the on the digital I have instructions on how to make it a 1/2 inch spine, and you could probably put 2 signatures in this 1/2 inch spine, but I've only got one, and then a 1/4 inch spine with 1 signature, and then just folded down the middle for a 1 signature spine. So then I got to thinking maybe go towards more of a nature theme. So I made one that's called Field Notes, and so this is my field notes. I put a little bird up here, and then just a scene of some birds that are flying here, and a tree, and some maybe mountains in the background, and a field here in front. So this is what you will get. I've started to cut it out so I could do this tutorial. So I'll finish cutting it out, and you can use your paper cutter and cut straight lines, and then maybe use this little corner rounder. But I will just use my scissors, and before I cut off the instructions that come with it. So if you want to have a 1/2 inch wide spine, you will score at 3 1/4 from each side outside, and that allows for up to 2 slim signatures, and that's using the green lines here. And then if you want a 1/4 inch spine, you score at 3 7/8 from each outside, just the outside of the book. And I'll show you here in a little bit. Watching somebody cut with scissors is like watching paint dry. Here we go, right around the corner. Okay. So, and then what I would usually do as well when I get to this step, or even maybe after the scoring, I like to grunge it up a little bit, where there's kind of a white area here, and along the sides as well. I like to grunge things up pretty good. And on one of the original ones that I did, the first one I did, let's see, I think it's this one. I grunged it up really good, and then I took some clear gesso and painted over it, which gives it a really fun feel, and I think it even grunged it up even more, makes it look even more old. Now I use a laser printer, so I'm not real sure if you're using an inkjet if you would get the same results. That might mess up your inks if you put gesso on it. I'm not sure. I don't use an inkjet very often. I love the results of papers painted with or printed with an inkjet. I just don't have one as handy here in my workshop as I'd like. So I grunged up the outside and the inside as well. And this is a nice trick. This is leftovers from my daughter's school, and they work really nice for inking. And you can put them in the sink and clean them off real easy when you're ready to do that. Okay, now what did I do? Okay, here is my scoring board. So I will put this in again, this against 0 over here, and if I want the 1/2 inch spine, then I would go in 3 3/4 and make my score, and then I would flip this over and do it again at 3 3/4. So that makes my, you can see it on this side maybe better, or maybe on this side. Yeah, you can see it real well on this side. So that would make the 1/2 inch spine. And so there's that. And then if you wanted to have a 1/4 inch spine, you would have a new cover, and you would score at 3 7/8 from 0 to 3 7/8. That's the little notch before the 4. And then turn it around again, and the notch before the 4. Well, I must not have cut that very straight. Oh, it keeps wanting to come over. Oh, there we go. That worked. There's the quarters in the middle there. Or if you just want to fold it in half, you would score at 4, because it's 8 inches across. And so there would be your the middle one that you would just fold in half. So that's what we'll work with right now. Okay. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat all of a sudden. Okay, so here's the rest of the pages you get with the kit. What I did was I'm using the same pages that came from the Freight Conductors train book. And I've colored them. One is pink, one is, this is kind of a tan. This one looks really green next to the green. There's green, there's the gray, kind of the original color, and a blue. And so rather than to reinvent the wheel, I'm using the same pages from the Train Conductors train book digital as for the field notes. I'm just thinking grids are good to write on. You can maybe make your own little columns, however you want to work it. And then an additional page in each kit is a gridded background page that's been coffee dyed and stained. So let's just go ahead, and you can either print these on coffee dyed paper, or go ahead and print these on the back, print them on, and maybe even print them out and maybe just glue some book page on it. You can do whatever you want. Oops. Oh, well, I guess that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Well, I guess it does, because that's down the middle. Let me try this again. Maybe my hand won't move like it did before. Okay, so some of these can be with it inside, some of it could be outside. They can go in together. You're limited by your own imagination, so let your imagination fly. Okay, so I've got a few papers or pages ready. I was going to make a 2 signature book, but I think since I have it just folded in half, we'll just go with 1 signature. And put this in the middle, and this one here. Oh, forgot about what I was going to do with that. Okay. Nothing like watching organized chaos here, but this is kind of how it's going to look. We'll put that one there. We have that one here. We'll just put this one. Put this one in like this. I was really tickled with how the colors came out. I just tried something new on Photoshop and it was pretty fun. So I have my book signature ready here. I have several pages and I wanted that to be my middle. This is a printout from Eva from Bohemian Crafting. So here is my handy dandy template for putting my signatures in for sewing. And I came up with a real fun thing. I have an awful lot of old envelopes from my working days of Anderson Graphics. So I decided, since there's a window in this envelope, I didn't want to lose this. So what I'm doing is I glue my envelope shut here, and then after it's dried, I just take my paper chopper cutter and I slice it down here, and then once I do that, then I open up these edges like this, I open it up, and then I have a folded spot or a folded piece of paper already creased perfectly for my template for sewing and signatures. And then I've kept this window for an envelope to use, in my junk journals that way. They're just not sitting in a box anymore. They're being used. Because I figured eventually they're going to end up either in the trash or on an auction. So that saves that. Okay, so then next we would just go through and we would poke our holes. Make sure they're nice and lined up. Now, these pages are just a little bit smaller than the cover, the pages that come with the kit. So just keep that in mind. That way you can get them all lined up. So there's a poke there, poke there, poke there, poke there, poke there, And then I usually like to keep my poker in that hole. And grab my needle. And I usually cut a length of waxed twine, linen, it's waxed linen string thread, and I use 3 lengths of the book, and that usually comes out about right. And then we just sew it. Whoops, I don't need this on there anymore. And we do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, or a 3-hole, whatever you want for sure. It's tall enough, I think, that a 5-hole works really well, but you do what you want to do. Kind of like what Nick the Booksmith says, "I'm not your mom." I love that when she says that. It's your choice. You do you. And then when you come through this, again, just try not to, like I just did, try not to go through the thread. And when you do, you just kind of pull it up and bring the needle back around so you don't have that thread attached. And I think I still do. But anyway, you would just finish that up, and then you'd tie it in the middle. If you wanted it to show in the back, then you would start your threading through the back side. But that's how you get your books all done. And these have just been really fun. They work up really super fast. And now I'll have 4, and I might just do a giveaway one of these days. If you can help me get to my next 100 subby, then we'll work on a giveaway. I just am having so much fun with this, and I just wanted to share with you guys. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.